What is good, everybody? It is your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. How are y'all feeling today, Chicago? Listen, we are going to talk Bulls today, but we have some special guests on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the Bulls Outsiders from NBC Sports Chicago talking Bulls basketball with us today, and it starts right after this. If you are new to the channel, please like the video. Please subscribe to the page because we do talk Chicago sports weekly. We don't want you to miss the things, so make sure that you hit that bell. But that's not why you're here today. Well, hopefully it is. Press the bell, do all that stuff. But, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce to you three gentlemen who have made a pretty miserable few Bulls seasons a little bit more bearable. Want to introduce to you the Bulls Outsiders. As Biggie Smalls once said, if you don't know now, you know. We have Mr. Matt Peck, Mr. John Sabine, and Big Dave Watson. Fellas, how y'all feeling today?
That was the greatest
thanks
intro.
for having us on, dude.
Oh, my God. And they make it a miserable time, not as miserable. That's the best introduction ever.
Hey, y'all can take that for the show. Whatever y'all need.
We'll take it.
Yeah. I like to always compare it to that Cat Williams bit in his stand-up where he's talking about how he's trying to help people out, and he's like, I got Bactine and Band-Aids. Like, we are Bactine and Band-Aids for the Bulls fans.
Well, hey, listen, we got a little bit better. First off, happy anniversary, fellas. 4 days of Boylen free.
I don't know who that is. I don't speak that language. I don't know who that is, bro.
Who'd you say? So you've pushed it completely out of your mind, Big Dave. Fellas, what was your first reaction when you heard the news? Let's start with Matt real quick. What was your first reaction, bro?
Honestly, a little bit of relief. I was trying to keep myself grounded and keep other fans grounded while we were waiting for months for Jim to get the axe. Because I didn't want to believe that ownership was actually that cheap and that ownership lied to the media and the fan base about giving AK full control. Because I kept saying over and over again, if it's actually a decision about basketball and making the Bulls a better basketball team, then in no world would AK, a brilliant basketball guy, look at Jim Boylen, the track record of what he did since he ousted Fred Hoiberg, and say, yeah, that's the guy to keep doing this job. It made no sense. But even still, when we started hearing like little bits and pieces of, well, maybe they might keep him because of this reason, or maybe they might keep him because of that reason, I was relieved, man. The weight has been lifted.
I totally get that. John, how did you feel, man?
Man, it felt like, things can work in this world. In a year where every institution is broken, everything's broken, the last day of the season, they fire him. And unfortunately, the last day of this season is the first time it was in August. So that's why I think that's why Bulls fans couldn't figure out. It felt weirder to them, Yeah. It just felt like, this is how things are supposed to work. He did not earn it. He did a bad job, and there's consequences. There's consequences to actions in America.
Yeah, it feels weird. It feels so weird. Big Dave, how about you?
I mean, joy, of course. It was joy. But, I mean, I've been saying it since day one, though. He was gone.
Yes.
Since day one. I've been saying this. It was going to happen. Because exactly what Matt said. I mean, he hit it on the head. There's no basketball logic that you can point to why he would still be the coach of this team. You can argue it financially. You can look at something like that. But there was no basketball logic you could sit there and tell me that he should be here. And everything that AK has done, including the stuff he did in Denver, everything he had done up to this point was basketball logic. So why would somebody that logical just say, I'm going to keep this silly person as my head coach of our team and continue to, make my players unhappy and continue to make the fan base unhappy like that? It didn't make any sense.
Silly person is the nicest criticism description of Boylen that I've heard in a long time.
I don't think Matt has ever called him a silly person, so he's absolutely right. That's G-rated right there for what it is, man. But I'm just happy and relieved.
So far, the best description of this whole thing was shout out to what's the Twitter handle? Ramina1690. She threw it out there. She said, you guys, the Bulls really have a new front office and will be getting a new coach. And then she put the look at us. Look at us. Who'd have thought we'd be here?
Paul Rudd video.
Not me, huh? Not me. That was exactly how I felt when I saw.
Shout out Ramina. She's the queen.
She's awesome.
Oh man, the Bulls queen was definitely in the building.
Ramina Lavina.
I think this whole thing gave me faith in the Chicago Bulls, and you guys tell me how you felt about it, because for the first time, it felt like Matt said, the only thing I was nervous about was like, are you guys really not going to give AK full autonomy? And all I kept picturing was when they would not let Ryan Pace hire his head coach when he got the job. I was so nervous that was going to be the case. And so the feeling of relief, I feel like, went through all Bulls fans, not just because Boylen was out of the building, but also because we have somebody in this building that we can trust to make the right decision, and he's allowed to do it. How do you guys think AK is going to move forward now that he he probably knew all the time. Now that we know that he does have that trust of Jerry Reinsdorf and that he can make whatever moves he wants, essentially.
I mean, personally, I'm thinking optimistically towards the future that the entire organization's perception across the league can change because of this. Because not only was the basketball product on the floor embarrassing through the first 3 years of this rebuild after they broke it down and shipped off Jimmy and let D Wade take the buyout and all that, but there was this growing notion around the league that it was a backstabbing, twisted, no trust in any direction organization.
How Boylen got his job.
And it all started from ownership on that. Yeah, Boylen went to management and said, I can do this job better than Fred. And ownership was like, okay. There are so many, different avenues of distrust, corruption, and just dirt in this organization. And it's why I think it's not just people being like Stephen A. Smith being like, oh, Chicago's cold, nobody wants to play there. No, the bigger problem is that nobody, especially the high caliber stars across this league, looked towards this once proud organization as somewhere they wanted to play. They treated their players like dirt. They treat their coaches like dirt. The only loyalty that has existed in this fan base for the last 30 plus years is between ownership and management. And that was the most disgusting thing. And that is what I'm hoping we are finally moving out of.
John, go ahead.
I mean, he had a list of names. He's Arya Stark, and he's taken them out.
Yeah.
Barr, Tanaka, Paxson. We had a list of people who has.
And y'all have a personal beef with Tanaka on the Bulls Outsiders, I believe.
Yeah. Kevorkian's better. Truly,
that night when Chris Dunn got hurt and Tanaka was just taking a sweet, Big Dave lost his goddamn mind.
It was
bro. He ran out there like he was a Blackhawks trainer on the ice, like he was getting ready for that.
Yes,
I was like, could you get there a little faster? He's kind of bleeding from his mouth.
It's like he had a new ringtone. He wanted you to hear the whole song. But he has a name, and we have been lied to, and he has done his duty, and we have to feel encouraged. We have to feel, dare I say, excited for the next season, because because when they were arguing that his contract, we've had tough because of COVID. I'm Googling how much you make in one home game, and it's $1 million. And it's there you go. That's one game. You can have an argument. So I just feel again, when there was so much chaos, if you're rich, hire good people and let them do their job. It's not that hard.
Now, Big Dave, I'll turn to you on this one real quick. What do you believe? How much of it do you believe was Boylen? Does this roster have what it takes to take that next step, to at least be an 8th seed? Because I don't know if y'all remember when the season started and Lowry dropped 1 million points. 37. I was like, oh, they're going to the playoffs. They're going to the playoffs, y'all. Yeah, Matt was like, all right, Pat, easy, breathe a little bit. But I thought they were going. That's my bad. I jumped a little to the gun. But Big Dave, do you think that this roster, as it's currently constructed, is a playoff roster with a real head coach in there? Maybe not the Girl Scout leader.
I mean, the honest answer is I don't know. We haven't seen them on the floor. We haven't seen them, like you said, with a competent coach. I haven't seen them with a competent trainer. I haven't seen them, not be injured or anything like that. So I honestly don't know. I know we got some pieces that I like. Of course, I like Lauri Markkanen. I like Zach LaVine. I like Kobe White. I like Wendell. I like Daniel Gafford. I mean, we have pieces that I really enjoy and really like, but I have not seen everybody play together for, a nice amount of time to form that kind of decision. Even Otto Porter Jr. Like, I have no idea. But in my head, because y'all know I'm always thinking positively. Yeah. That's just how I feel about it. Like, bringing in a new coach, seeing the front office that we have now, all of it logically makes sense to me. So, yeah, why wouldn't these guys want to play a little harder or play a little better? And we'll be a little more basketball smart. Like, I expect the basketball IQ to be 1,000 times better, for this team. So, yeah, looking forward, I would honestly say I don't know, but I'm thinking positively. So, yeah, why not? It's the East. Let's go for the playoffs.
Well, we currently saw Orlando. They're pretty much they are the 8th seed. I'll ask you this, Matt. Would you rather have the Bulls roster right now or what Orlando has? With a competent coach, of course.
Shout out to the Orlando Magic for getting that big upset victory in Game 1 without the heroics of former Bulls great Michael Carter Williams, who couldn't even play in that game. But no, honest answer to the question, I think I would take the Bulls' current roster over the Magic, but not by a wide margin. Yeah. To Big Dave's point, I agree. I don't know what the Bulls have right now, other than some promising young talent and pieces that don't really seem to fit all that well together. And maybe that's coaching, and maybe it's because the players don't fit together. That's why I think what we're going to see is AK, Eversley, and their player development staff that they build out take this upcoming season in 2021, God willing it happens, and use at least the first 2/3 of it up to the 2021 season's trade deadline to figure out which pieces they like and which pieces they don't. Because I don't think AK would have taken this job if he looked at the roster and said, there's nothing to work with there. We've heard AK say on record, I really like this team's talent. And to be honest, I thought that they were more talented than their production as far as the win-loss column. And it's like, hey, that was an immediate nod that he was getting rid of Jim Boylen because they were too talented to not produce. But it also is like, guess what? Even if he has an idea of maybe trading some of these pieces based on what he's observed so far, the film he's watched, because they don't fit, he's still going to hype up the talent on the roster to try and maximize every player's trade potential, trade value in the hypothetical that he decides to ship off one of these pieces and kind of construct the roster in his own image.
Now, John, I want to turn to you real quick because we've heard a lot of talk that there's some packages on the table for one Zach LaVine. So I'll ask you, is Zach LaVine a part of this team that you think needs to be a part of this team moving forward? I mean, Zach's what, 25? Just turned 25?
Yeah,
24?
Yeah, I think he's maybe 25. Yeah, whatever. He's the same age as Giannis or something.
Yeah. So super young, still super upside. We've seen him do nothing in this NBA but improve. We've seen these trade packages on the table. Are the Bulls going to pull the trigger on a Zach LaVine trade, or does it make more sense to watch his growth here?
He's earned he's shown nothing but he's been the model citizen for fans. We should build around him. The right thing to do is ride with Zach. But he has your most trade value. I don't think we're going to see many trades that are of that level caliber players this year pre-summer 2021. I just don't. I think people are keeping their even though he has a friendly contract, people are going to keep their cap space to make a run in that summer. So I don't know. What can you get that's better than him? Because we need him. It's not like we have two Zach LaVines.
I think a lot of the questions are that is Kobe White a 1 or a 2? Could you move Kobe to the 2, maybe trade him to get a pick? and get a point guard, maybe a LaMelo Ball, depending on, how the ping pong balls fall Thursday. So I think that's what a lot of people are looking at.
That's a great point.
Would something like that be something that the Bulls might pull the trigger on?
I think if we get something like LaMelo, Kobe White's the one to go, right?
Ooh.
And I love Kobe.
Ooh.
We don't have we have 6.5 players.
Yeah.
Like that's all we have. Like
you got 30 point guards and they all average 4 points between.
God, we don't need a point guard though. We've got Chris Dunn, we've got Archie, we've got Shaq Harrison.
We got people who would never
be Jen,
who would never play.
Let's kill that mentality, because that's the mentality that didn't net us D Wade in the draft. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's kill that mentality. No, we don't need. We got a shooting guard. We're good at that position. No, we're not. We're not. He's a Hall of Famer. I look at this team and I see there's talent there, but it's kind of like Big Dave said. Do these pieces fit together? Is this team going to be able to become a team just under new management? Because I think Wendell and Lowry, I thought Wendell and Lowry's skill set would have worked great together. And then all of a sudden, Wendell stopped shooting.
Well, that wasn't his fault, though. Like, I can't put that on Wendell. That was definitely on coaching, telling him not to shoot the basketball and telling him that mid-range shot was a bad shot, and then putting 20 pounds on him when he's 6'9". So he was 6'9", 273, and not a shooter. So you saw him many a game, and guys, we would sit there and watch him, where he would just get the ball at the free throw line extended and just look confused. He's like, I'm wide open for a jumper. Should I take it? I don't know. I don't know what to do. So
because of Jim Boylen's stupid gimmicky defense, he was asking Wendell to play 4 of 5 defensive positions.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
And we heard a lot this offseason about a lot of these players, but I think the one thing that I heard was that Wendell was interested in playing the 4. That begs the question, is Lowry a 5? I can't see it. So now, in my mind, has Wendell made himself expendable because of that? And you hate to give up on that young talent, but listen, Daniel Gafford's a heck of a player coming off of the bench.
He's your center.
I could see him being the center of the future.
Correct.
Is if Wendell wants to move to the bench and stay with this team because he's like, these my boys, I came up with them, I'm moving. I could see something like that happen, but I think that a lot of players with the firing of Jim Boylen and with eyes in the building that have never been in a Bulls organization for the first time, and I can't remember how long. Big Dave, I'll ask you, who do you think is expendable on this team now?
I mean, everybody. Everybody's pretty much expendable. There's no
everyone.
Like everybody you look at, there's not an all-star on your team. There's no all-NBA player on the team. There's talent that you hope turns into that, of course. Yeah. And these guys know I love Lauri Markkanen. I don't want to trade Lauri Markkanen at all. Never. But my faith is totally in AK and Mark Eversley. If they say he got to go, I'm like, well, sorry, Lauri, I love you, but you got to go. So yeah, I think everybody's expendable. Wendell's expendable. Like you just said, like if he wants to play the 4, I don't see Lauri playing the 5. I like Gafford. I think we like Gafford playing the 5 and Lauri playing that 4 because Gafford doesn't need the basketball. Wendell shouldn't come off the bench. He should be starting in this league. He has that kind of, talent to see if he can be that starter. But, of course, if he wants to come off the bench, that'd be great. I don't think that's going to happen. He want to get his money. But – yeah, everybody is pretty much expendable, man. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting watching it next year because you got all these guys and who you think are expendable. We don't know if they can play well together. You still want them to make the playoffs and make a run for that. You're going to reverse your head coach, man. Like, it's going to be weird to look at. But like I said, man, all my faith is in Eversley and AK because they took out my hit list. So I'm good.
So you feel that talent is on this team. You feel this team could make it happen. Of course, the pieces are going to end up moving around, but we've talked about the coach. Who do you guys see as being the head coach of the Chicago Bulls in 2021? The best candidate to be the head coach for the Chicago Bulls, I should say.
There's a lot of good candidates, man. Kenny Atkinson's a name you hear continue to get thrown out there. What Matt sent us that Tyronn Lue's name came flying out there from Kendall Gill on the podcast.
No.
His name came out there.
No. No.
It's a lot.
I tell you what, the only person I want to be our coach less than Ty Lue is Mark Jackson. Bulls fans need to shut up about Mark Jackson.
Mark Jackson is in the Boylen school of, I'm not going to draw up a play. I'm going to show you a clip from Rocky to inspire you type.
Yeah.
Like it's like, no, like I'm going to read like Leviticus to you to like talk about the balls. And it's like, no, just draw a play up, man. Like, let's have.
I don't want to swap out bulls across the chest for hand down, man down.
Exactly.
What are these nonsensical terms? No.
Hand down, man down is pretty dope. But go, I hear your point.
Hand down, man down is a basketball staple.
Yeah, at least a basketball term that we know, not like road dog mentality.
Exactly.
At least a term that I understand. But I feel
who's out there? Stan, like
Udoka.
Udoka's my pick, and I don't know why. Only
that's my pick.
I know exactly why. Nia Long, but I mean,
yes, I mean that might be it.
Celebrity Nia Long, yes.
But I like the Sixers. Like feel like they've had. It feels like the coaching have had the Sixers have been a different team every single year, and for good, better or for worse. But like that takes like some sort of mental dexterity to like adapt. Right. I don't think we know who are good coaches in the NBA. I think we know who we don't like. And who knows? Like Atkinson may be amazing. You know what I mean? Becky Hammond is never leaving San Antonio because why would you? Why would you? You're the heir apparent to Pop. And so I think, again, it's all of our answers are so boring because it's like we trust AK.
That's it, man.
Beggars can't be choosers, and we have been beggars for years.
Yeah,
and we finally have someone who knows how to drive a car. So I don't care where we go.
Straight.
And honestly,
not even a stick, just a car.
We're on the road.
Right.
And trudging for the road.
Outside of Atkinson, most of the candidates we're hearing about would be first-time head coaches, which might, worry some fans. But I like the resumes and the coaching trees and the organizational trees of a lot of these would-be first-time head coaches a lot more than I like the resumes of some of these guys who have head coaching experience who I don't think are all that great as far as what I've seen from them head coaching. Like, we mentioned Udoka. Wes Unseld Jr. is another name that, I'm very curious to see how that interview goes. I expect that he will come prepared because he is a former disciple and colleague with AK himself in Denver. The one thing that I don't love about Unseld is that he's certainly been known as like the defensive coordinator assistant coach in Denver. And behind the Bulls, Denver blitzed second most frequently. And like the Bulls quadrupled the next closest team with Jim's ridiculous nonsense. But I would like to see the Bulls, especially while they're trying to figure out which pieces fit, especially front court pieces, use a lot more drop coverage next season. Just because I think that's kind of the way the league is going, in addition to the league going more towards zone. But enough with the blitz schemes. I freaking hate them. So that, but I do like Wes Unseld's obviously great NBA pedigree. The other name, of course, that has a tie is Darvin Ham, who as far as big coaching trees, Mike Budenholzer, protege. I really like that name. And then of course, Udoka has the tie with Eversley in Philly. So even though we're looking at a lot of potential first-time head coaches, they all come from quality pedigree and quality winning organizations.
Didn't Atkinson and AK play at Providence together? Am I making that up?
Yes.
No, that's fact.
Aren't they part of that? One of the big main ones, and then they
I thought you were right. I thought I read that because there was a big tie to Kenny Atkinson. Let me not put no misinformation out there. We can't say that's fact.
I could be totally wrong. What was I gonna say? I forget. It would have been really funny, though, I bet.
But I honestly think it's Udoka. John, I feel you on Udoka. It just feels like him. I just had this conversation yesterday with someone, and I said, you know what? I want Udoka, and there's no basketball reason behind it. And it's just a feeling. It's just something I'm feeling.
Because he's the Jim Boylen. I mean, Udoka. He's the 180 opposite of
and also coming with Mark Eversley, they have a relationship.
Yes,
but I think the idea of a coach, a first-time coach, a first-time GM, first-time basketball operations guy, Like it just lines up when I look at it. Like when I just look at it, it's all feeling. It's no basketball, behind why I think I want him. Even though awesome coach, champion from the pop tree, all that stuff. But the reason I want him is strictly feeling and Neil Long. Yes,
I think mostly Neil Long. That's still feeling though, right? Never mind.
Yeah,
I think it's tough for me with Atkinson because there's so many questions around him. Like clearly the Nets improved. It also had a little bit to do with the fact that D'Angelo Russell showed up in the building and was lights out. Yeah, but to me, when I look at Atkinson, I'm like, all right, the Nets improved. They did this, they did that. Why did you leave when you finally got two superstars? Were they getting you out of there? Was there something behind the scenes? Let us know something before we bring you in for this interview. And then on top of that, D'Lo pretty much said, he was like, that team won in spite of him. We were all just very talented. He just happened to be the guy at the front, which we've seen you can do in this NBA. I mean, LeBron took the Cleveland Cavaliers to the finals. You know what I'm saying? That's the name right there. David. If I hear David Blatt one more time for the Chicago Bulls, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Wait, you heard that? Somebody said that?
Oh yeah. Oh,
is his comment about an NBA coach being like a fighter pilot more or less ridiculous than the list of Jim Boylen quotes that we have?
But he was an actual fighter pilot, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
So he did it. Like Boylen was like, I saw a movie once. it was called First Machine Gun or something, and you're like, no, man.
Jim Boylen literally walked out the door and was like, I appreciate everybody for being there, but hey, they gave me my marching orders. I was like, who told you to march? Like nobody told you to march. Like just coach the team.
You're not the main character of this movie no one's watching. Like,
oh my goodness.
That's how he acted.
We're past Boylen, guys. We are past Boylen. That is a beautiful feeling. It's almost a freeing feeling. I feel like an angel with his wings. Got the Bulls Outsiders here just for a couple more minutes, guys. I want to ask you guys this. I asked this to Chuck Swirsky when he was on my show, and I want to ask you guys this as well. Humble plug.
Yeah. Name drop.
Humble plug.
Downgrade.
Come on now. Chuck ain't on TV. No, I'm just playing. Chuck, we love you, baby. But what is this team missing most? Because clearly we think this team has talent, but there's something missing here that holds this team together. With our Derrick Rose Bulls, which, man, I got a little beef. You don't want Derrick back in a Bulls jersey. That's a whole different story. With our Derrick Rose Bulls, though, we had Joakim Noah as the glue. We had that bench as the glue. What is the glue that this team is missing to hold it together and make it a team?
Oh,
That's
IQ.
Great question. Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no basketball IQ. Like, it has to be. And they're super young, and there's nobody to guide them. So they're just out there running the most. And John makes a great point about Zach LaVine and just how awesome he has been, trying to take that role of a leader and move his team forward and stuff like that. But, dude, the IQ basketball-wise of this team, and some is their fault. A lot of it is not because, they're doing what the coach is telling them to do. But the IQ isn't high, so that part has to increase for a younger team like that, to look good on the floor.
I like that. What I would say is missing, okay, one, and obviously superstar level talent. You need that to win in the NBA, hands down.
Yeah.
Two,
Man down.
and it's going to sound a little cliche, but I do not think is at all cliche, pride. And that's not like Jim Boylen bullshit, bulls across the chest pride. I'm talking about, honestly, like Chicago sports fans feeling pride in their teams. And, Pat, talking about the Joakim, D. Rose, Luol Bulls teams that were the closest thing we've seen to winning since the dynasty broke up.
Right.
That team had pride in themselves and played for pride of the city. And, you can call it cliche and Chicago blue-collar cliche. It's not. Like, what makes teams connect with this city's fans is pride. And right now, over the past umpteen years of Jim Boylen, Fred Hoiberg, whomever, since that Tibbs team broke up, there has been no pride in the building. And that's not necessarily to the fault of the players, it's to the fault of the people running the organization. We need to get that back in addition to getting superstar talent.
Playmaking. we don't have a single playmaker Kobe can be a playmaker. Kobe needs to. He's got the handles. Can score. He's a threat. He needs to study at the Church of James Harden. Like, he can figure it out. He's not as big. He's not as like round. But like, we have Levine isn't a playmaker. Lauri's not a playmaker. Wendell might be like your second or first best playmaker, and that's bad.
Don't forget about Denzel Valentine.
Yeah, Denzel Valentine's our best passer, and that's an insane sentence. There it is. Like, there it is. Like, he sees the floor better than anyone, and that's sucks.
Wow, that just took a dark turn.
But it's true.
That's a fact.
Denzel has never recovered since he got dropped off by that high schooler, man. Like, that's Fred Nitty, bro. That's exactly what it was.
Fred Nitty, baby.
Wow, that the way to bring us back down to bring up Denzel Valentine, guys. No, I really want to say this. I appreciate you guys for joining the show today. Let them know all your social media so that they can go follow you, go find you guys, and let them know what you guys got going on. Alrighty, so no, Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Bulls_Peck. Also, I do a daily Monday through Friday podcast called Locked On Bulls. You can follow that along with my co-host Jordan Malley. We are at Locked On Bulls. We do a lot of mailbag content right now. Well, there's no Bulls stuff, so check us out. Give us a listen. Give us a subscribe.
John, go ahead.
I'm going to go ahead and say you don't have to follow me, but you should listen to all the podcasts that people have on yours, Ball, and Locked On. I'm conceding my followers and telling them to run towards good content and not my content.
Big Dave, tell them where they can find.
First of all, follow him at JSabine214.
Dang, he knows
definitely.
There it is.
You can follow me at Ball Sports, BAWL Sports. Podcast, I do Ball and Ball on Bulls, ballsports.com. Also on Instagram, wherever you listen to podcasts, we're there. And also, other shows we have on our network, like the Open Gym is on our network, Ball Sports Network, and so we'll be making a move to YouTube also to join Pat the designer over there.
Ooh, come through, come through,
and
man.
Hot Mic too.
Oh,
we're doing some Bulls Outsiders on Hot Mic. Check it out.
Thursday.
Download the app.
Thursday, Bulls Outsiders doing the draft.
Number one pick.
We'll be there.
Oh yeah. Well, now I got to ask y'all one more question before we get out of here. If you get the number one pick, who you taking?
I mean, for me, it's LaMelo Ball. I really don't know anyone else or care to know anyone else.
I'm just hoping that some really dumb team out there makes Scar Foreman their GM between now and draft day. And then AK is going to give him a call and be like, hey, man, you want to trade up? Because I'm looking to trade down. And then we'll go from there.
Ooh.
Man, let him go.
I mean, here's the thing. Anthony Bennett went number one. People who get paid millions of dollars don't know how the draft works out. I never know. Like, unless it's like a LeBron James or like, I remember Luka draft. I was like, my friend called and she was like, who do you want? I was like, I don't know. I want Luka. That's what everyone wants, right? Like, no one knows. Nobody knows who's good. No one knows who's bad. It's just, we don't. So who knows?
I knew Ja was good.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
Ja's
you talking about the point guard? Is that who you're talking about?
Oh, that's exactly who I'm talking about.
And that's a coaching example. First-time coach from I like that. He was an assistant, young. I like that. Like, that's a good blueprint for us, I think.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the Bulls Outsiders. I want to thank everybody who's stayed joined in. And listen, we're going to be in the comments below. I'm going to be in the comments below. Y'all can hop in there, too. We all getting it in. Let me know how you feel about the Chicago Bulls team in the comments below. Who do you think should be the next head coach? What is this team missing? I am going to get up out of here. It is your boy, Pat, the designer. Back at it again. If you want to continue watching our content, click the links here or check the links in the descriptions below. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Peace.